Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome back to the second in-depth candle review of the day. I hope you are having a fantastic afternoon. If you missed my first candle review from a little bit earlier this morning, I'll go ahead and link it in the description box right below this video here. I did review Kringle Tranquil Winter, which is a part of the Winter Flight collection that recently launched over at the Kringle website. Honestly, it's a really incredibly well done holiday scent. So if you're interested at all, definitely go check out that review. It is such a lovely scent and I've really been enjoying it. So, but in this video, we are obviously digging into one of the Slatkin Co and Elton John collaboration fragrances. This is the Merry Marmalade, and in full disclosure, this one candle right here that I am reviewing was sent to me in PR by Slatkin Co. I am an ambassador with Slatkin Co. So from time to time they do send us a candle or two, and we can share our thoughts with you on whatever platform we utilize to share our candle reviews. I did go ahead, and when the collection launched over at QVC, I ended up purchasing several of the candles from that launch as well, and I shared that haul video yesterday, so if you missed it, I'll link that in the description box as well. I purchased two other sets of these 3-wick candles. One of them I really liked and it's burning really well, like this Merry Marmalade here, and the other I'm just not sure that I'm gonna keep because it smells a little funky on cold sniff. Honestly, I have loved all of the scents from this collaboration. I think the Gilded Pomander was honestly the only one that kind of threw me off as smelling just a little bit funky to my nose. So I think I'll go ahead and still burn it and review it, and maybe I have my fingers crossed that it'll transform into something a little bit more enjoyable, but we'll see. Anyway, let's dig into Merry Marmalade, which admittedly, this is not a holiday scent to my nose at all. It's pretty raspberry heavy. For me, I tend to be a very seasonal burner, so I definitely, I burn raspberry candles more so in the spring and summer, but I've paired this with a lot of my holiday tree scents, and I have to admit, it's actually been quite lovely. This Merry Marmalade is still available. It is not available at the TSV pricing, unfortunately, so the price has gone up. So there's that, but for what it's worth, it is still available in a set of 2. I'll link it down below. If you're interested, you can still pick this up. So let's go ahead and read through the little story that they have. We'll read through the fragrance notes. I'll tell you what I smell in this fragrance. We'll discuss the strength and the throw. And then, of course, any burn issues. I know there have been some people who have had some burn issues with these 3 wicks, and I can see where that could potentially be happening because these wicks are very finicky, and if you trim them at all in any slight aggressive manner, you're going to be in trouble. So, but I'll tell you how I managed to fix the situation where I actually did that to this one. So, but we'll get there when we talk about the overall burn quality. Okay. So the little story here reads, a family tradition at Woodside, which is Elton John's estate, obviously. Delicious garden fruits are transformed into Merry Marmalade. Ripe red raspberries and orange peel are blended with sliced apple and vanilla sugar and then slowly simmered into a sweet, delightful treat. The notes on this one read red raspberry, orange peel, sliced apple, and vanilla sugar. Again, this is a 3-wick, not a 4-wick, and the design that you see on the jar there are actually piano keys, which obviously an homage to Elton John's music career there. I really like how they tied in the whole piano into the actual glass jar. I think they did a really beautiful job with that. But in terms of these fragrance notes, what do I actually smell in this candle? First of all, very much so, the raspberry is the first thing that greets you with this on cold sniff and post burn. This is one of those candles where it smells very similar from cold sniff to when you actually light it. There's a lot of fragrances that can really transform and change once you actually light that wick. And there are some fragrances that smell exactly the same when you just smell the cold wax as, you know, when you're actually burning it. So this is one where you're getting something really delicious on cold sniff and you're getting something really delicious post burn as well. And the very first thing is that gorgeous, sweet, ripe, juicy summer raspberry. Right behind that is absolutely that orange peel. It doesn't really smell necessarily like a straight up orange. It really is more of the zest. So there's like a little bit of a like freshness with that orange peel. It's not quite as juicy as some orange scents, but you definitely get that essence of the orange peel in here. And it's a really nice complement to that raspberry. Sliced apple, absolutely. You smell a juicy, very crisp, very ripe apple note in here. I would say it's definitely one of these sweeter apples. So think along the lines of more of like the Honeycrisp, like a Macintosh, not a baked apple scent. So in this morning's review, we were talking about more of like a baked apple scent. This is more of like a fresh, juicy, ripe apple that you just sliced up. So you're getting some additional sweetness from that apple. You're getting some sweetness from the raspberry. You don't really get any sweetness from the orange per se. You just get that beautiful kind of citrus essence. But the vanilla sugar, 100%. There is a really nice base to this, which is just, again, adding a little bit more sweetness. But that vanilla, I think, just really kind of complements the fruit notes in here so well. This truly smells edible, you guys. I would eat whatever this marmalade was put on. Put it on bread, put it on, you know, apple slice, whatever you spread this on, I would 100% eat it. This smells delicious. It is a true gourmand and it is incredibly well blended. The strength and throw, I have honestly been really impressed with here, if I'm gonna be honest. I don't always love when HomeWorx does these 3-wick jars. I really wish they would stick with the 4 wicks. I tend to get typically the best strength and throw from my 4-wick candles versus the 3 wicks. But this one really did perform like a usual 4-wick candle. So I'm gonna put the strength of this at a solid 7. Like, this is absolutely a noticeable, substantial fragrance in the room when you walk in. The throw is also pretty substantial as well. I would put that probably right around a 7 as well. This not only is quite noticeable in the room where you're burning it, but it does travel as well. So I've typically been burning this one in the formal living room, and it does travel its way towards the back of the house where we have the kitchen and the family room. It's a nice traveler. For being a 3-wick, this is a good performer, you guys. And again, I don't typically love this 3-wick format from HomeWorx. I really wish they would stick with the 4 wicks. But in this case, I think it's working out okay. I'm also burning the Citrine Forest right now, and that one has the same strength and throw. So really, it's performing as well as I think it possibly can. So good strength and throw. But let's get into this burn quality here, because here's the thing with these candles. The wicks are very, very delicate, and I'm talking Like, you really have to be careful when you're trimming these. They do require just a little bit of trimming. It's not like they get huge mushroom tops. They can't because they're so thin, but there are these little, you know, carbon balls that will hang on at the top, and I always like to snip those off. Well, after a couple of burns, I decided to use my old Yankee wick trimmer to trim the wicks because I couldn't find my little cuticle scissors, which is what I normally use for these delicate types of wicks so that I don't trim off too much. But oh my gosh, you guys, I butchered these wicks. I was afraid that I completely killed the candle. So what I ended up doing to try to fix it was I relit my very, very short wicks, and then I put a candle sleeve over the candle and I just let it go. I literally let it go for probably 4 or 5 hours, which is way longer than I ever allow myself to burn a HomeWorx candle, because these guys will develop issues if you burn them long beyond the recommended time. You can usually always find the recommended burn time for a candle on the bottom, so just take a look at the label, and my suggestion is always burn according to their suggestions. I mean, you can burn it longer, but if you start developing issues, then, you know, maybe try burning it for the length of time that's suggested and see if that still causes problems. Some candles are obviously just duds, but for me, I have found that following the manufacturer directions has been the best bet. So anyway, I decided to let it go way longer, and you guys, it corrected itself. The wicks ended up coming back as the wax dissipated, so they didn't continue to like eat themselves, if you understand what I'm saying. This is usually a problem for me when it comes to Bath & Body Works candles. Like, the wicks just kind of sometimes, it's almost like they just start to disappear. They consume themselves, and then you are left with the tiniest flame ever. I usually can't get the Bath & Body Works candles to correct themselves with that, but this one did it. So big round of applause for that. But I tell you what, I looked very hard for my cuticle scissors because I did not want to deal with that again. So the candle sleeve that I put over top fit exactly over the candle. I want to say that the diameter was somewhere around 5 inches. But I think with retaining that heat, it really helped that wax to kind of melt and dissipate so that the wicks could essentially regenerate themselves. I'm going to give you guys an overhead shot so that you can see what I'm working with now. I lit this candle just about, I would say, a half hour ago. These do take a little while to pull out, so prepare yourself. I don't know why that is, but the first burn, I did have to let it go just a little bit longer. And after about, I would say 4 hours, it still had not completely pooled. So I used that candle sleeve towards the beginning as well, and it pulled out immediately after that. So if you're struggling with these, if you don't have a glass sleeve that you can pop over these, I would say try the tin foil, but ideally you should not have to do that, obviously. But if you want to enjoy these candles, if you purchase them and you're having some issues, those would be my suggestions if you don't want to send them back to QVC. So let's take an overhead peek here so that you guys can see. You can see that I left some of those wick trimmings in there. This burn, I didn't grab that one out. I just went ahead and lit it, but you can see that those mushroom tops they're not super major. This one's probably the best example of what you're gonna get. But yeah, you definitely wanna trim that little tiny bit off the top, but nothing beyond that. Don't get crazy with your cuticle scissors. Don't get crazy with your wick trimmers. Like I said, these wicks are fragile. I wish that they would have considered some different wicks, but all that being said, it did recover and I've been able to enjoy it. You can see it's still kind of waiting to pull out over here on the side completely, but this is without using a candle sleeve, like I said. Hey guys. So yeah, I don't know. I'm pleased with how this one has been burning. Like I said, the citrine forest is burning just as well. So as long as you're not too aggressive with your wick trimming, you should be fine with these, but they do also correct themselves from what I've learned with this one. So for what it's worth, I'm gonna give this one I would give it 1 thumb up. I'm not gonna give it 2 solid thumbs up because, like I said, the wicks are very thin, and I think if you're not experienced in burning these HomeWorx candles, you can probably get pretty frustrated with this. But for me, I'm someone who doesn't like sending candles back. So as long as I like the way that it smells, I always try to figure out a way to make it work. And either wrapping my candles in tin foil or finally, you know, using one of those candle sleeves or a hurricane has really been a good bet for me in terms of getting these to pull out properly. So that would be my suggestion. But yeah, anyway, I like the scent a lot. If this goes on sale, maybe after the holidays, and it's more along the lines of the pricing that it was when the collection was released, I would 100% purchase another set of the Merry Marmalade myself because, like I said, the citrine forest is burning beautifully. I love the scent of that one, and I love the scent of this one, and there's just a lot of really great fragrances in this collection. So let me know what your thoughts are on Merry Marmalade down below. I will review the citrine forest for you guys a little bit later on this week. And then I also have a couple of the other scents as well that were in the large jars, the Tangerine Palazzo. I bought the big guy. And I also bought the coffee table candle as well. I think I'm gonna start burning that one this week as well, and then share some thoughts with you on that one probably next week. So let me know if you have any questions. I appreciate you guys being here. Check out the link to this one in the description box down below, and I will see you for one more review a little bit later on this evening. So make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Toodaloo.